Well, hi, I'm Chrissy with Mind Clarity Coaching, and welcome to my first video. This is definitely going to be a little bit different than all my videos moving forward. I've asked a dear friend of mine, Miss Wanda, here to help support me in this because I'm feeling nervous. I'm working through challenges that I coach other people and help them through. And one of those challenges is the fear of being seen and the fear of being heard using my voice. So, one of the things I've learned in my personal growth journey is that you need to ask for support. So, I've asked Wanda to support me in this and kind of help me just get my first video out, not edited, just get it out there. Just face the fear and meet my goal for today. So, everybody, this is Miss Wanda. She's a dear friend of mine. And yeah, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself, Wanda?
Yes, I am Miss Wanda. I am a speaker and public speaking coach, as well as a radio host. I host a weekly talk show, Empowering Women, and that's how we connected on some level, not through the talk show, but just in the women's empowerment or empowerment space. And I'm super excited that you asked me to support you in this, and I'm here for you. And I'm excited to hear more about Mind Clarity Coaching.
Thank you. Thank you. So the way that what I've asked Miss Wanda to do is just kind of interview me. And that way I can um, allow other people to take a peek into who I am, get to know me a little bit, and understand what building mind clarity coaching, what I want to do, and what I want, the value that I want to provide uh, to this community. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me make sure I
All
got
right.
my thing on Do Not Disturb because I bet you the second we get into something amazing, my phone will ring. And if you hear snoring in the background, it's just my dog.
All right. So before I think the first and most important thing is who are you and why mind clarity coaching?
Okay. Well, my name is Chrissy Boyce, and I'm a mother of two adult children. I'm a wife, uh, and I'm a life coach. What led me to Mind Clarity Coaching was that I grew up. I don't know how else to say it. I grew up in the dark. Like I didn't understand things. I was tossed from home to home. Um, I know a lot of people have had difficult upbringings. I would say mine was a difficult upbringing and into my adulthood, yeah, I was very confused. I was very confused on why people reacted the way they reacted to either things I said or things that I did. I just didn't have clarity. And as I started to grow, um, I realized that one of the ways that I learned was that when something became clear to me, like in a job, I could do what they trained me to do, but once I understood why I was doing it that way, when it became clear, I was able to excel and make it more efficient. And, just the understanding, just the knowing of why this thing needed to be done this way or why it worked this way really allowed me to grow in every area. So I started applying that as I started personal growth, started reading books, started taking courses. I realized that the more clarity I gained on the way that my body worked, the way my brain worked, what my soul was, I started to grow. And so, mind clarity coaching, I like to help people clear up the clutter in their minds because that over time gets us stuck in a rut.
Yeah. Speaking of being stuck in a rut, you mentioned at the beginning of this video that you felt a fear of being seen, and that has kept you stuck from creating your first video, which we're here today for. Talk a little bit about why is this video significant and facing the fear now of being stuck and creating your first video.
Well, um, I feel like I've had enough healing and personal development that the negative voices in my head are not as loud as they used to be. Um, the importance of me doing it now the way I'm doing it is because I feel when you're helping people grow, it's important to be vulnerable. And it's important to take action and face your fears. And so I thought, well, what better way than to just invite everyone to be witness to me facing my fear and me taking the action anyways, and the vulnerability that I'm willing to put forth. And right now I may look like I'm smiling, but my heart is beating a million miles an hour, like it's just beating out of my chest. And it's so funny because you and I have been in a lot of courses. I mean, public speaking. I have spoken in front of people before. I love coaching. I coach personal clients. I've been doing that for years. And when I'm speaking to someone, I'm very comfortable because there's questions to answer, there's something to talk about. But every time I've tried to make a video where I'm just speaking to no one, I just have a hard time picturing someone in front of me. And so I think that's where I get a little bit shut down. I like to connect with people, but I don't want that to stop me from getting the message out that I feel I need to get out that may help someone else.
Yeah, yeah. Making the connection is important. And I can't even begin to tell you how many people are going to connect to you through this video, through your vulnerability and
Mhm.
transparency here today. You asked me to support you in this endeavor, but how hard was that for you to actually reach out for that support?
Well, that was probably the hardest part. First of all, that would mean that if you said yes, then there's no other excuse left to put this off
Yeah,
any
yeah,
longer. Um, and number two, you've been with me through a lot of my trials and my struggle with depression, and I've introverted a lot in my life, and it's hard. It's so hard for me. Or up until this point, it was hard for me. I'd like to change the language right there because I was speaking in a disempowering way. Um, Up until this point, it has been hard for me to reach out and ask for help because I've always felt as if I were a burden or if I would be putting somebody out or if, maybe I just wasn't worthy of receiving any type of support. And so I'm in a place in my life where I'm learning how to ask for what I want. I've had enough healing. I know I'm worthy. And even if you did say no, it would be okay. I can still move forward, but that was very hard. Yeah, that was the hardest thing.
yeah. There's
And
something about having that extra little support to lean on. Go ahead.
yes. Well, and I've learned that when we can grow, we can learn and we can grow, but I've noticed when I try to do it by myself, it's so much slower than it is when I have a community and
Mhm.
when I lean on my friends and my family. Even just talking, even just hanging out and talking, you're able to process thoughts that, you just didn't even know you were really thinking about. And you gain better understandings to hear someone else's point of view. Just all of that is amazing. So I think we need to lean on support.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about, needing support, and I'm here to support you. How do you support through Mind Clarity Coaching those that are, your new friends and family and followers and your new community that you're building with Mind Clarity Coaching? Can you tell us a little bit about what offerings, what we can expect when we work with you?
Oh yeah. So I do offer one-on-one coaching. And I teach people how to reconnect with their authentic self. I teach people the difference between our energetic or spiritual body. Some people call it their soul, um, source energy, whatever you want to call it. It's the life force that gives the physical body life. So I work a lot with the spiritual and the physical body. And I provide a lot of clarity on how they work together. And when you learn how to be in alignment with your spiritual body, your energetic body, how you can move forward making better choices, choices that are good for you, not choices that you think somebody else wants for you. It's like getting to know you again. It's like getting to know yourself, falling in love with yourself all over again. I help people understand where that mental clutter comes from. Our physical bodies, our physical brain is created to keep us safe from birth. And and so what it does is it creates these belief systems. When things happen to us from a very young age, we start to build these belief systems in our brains. And I like to use the example of touching the stove. If you're a child and you touch a hot stove and you burn your fingers, your brain creates the belief system, don't touch the stove when it's red, or just don't touch the stove without, you know, patting it first, whatever, it's hot. So your brain creates that safety net for you. And the belief systems that we create as a child could be, you know, attached to our money story. So my money story, if my mom left and my dad was super excited because he didn't have to pay child support, that money belief that I might have picked up as a child would be that, oh, I'm just not worthy of money. And so then I would sabotage as an adult, ways to make money. So when we are able to clear up those belief systems that may have served us at one time in our life, but don't serve us at another time in our life, it helps us move forward, making better choices that are good for us. And and to get rid of those things that are actually harming our body.
Yeah. That's I love that example that you gave of the stove, and it I just even hearing you tell it, my I can resonate with that in certain areas of my life, and I'm sure everyone listening can as well, because we do operate in that until we become conscious.
Yeah.
So as you said, say I touched the stove as a kid, and now I'm terrified of going near the stove when my mom's cooking or whatever it is. I have that belief. And as we get older, it's still there, but it may not be top of mind until we bring that, start to notice those things. And I guess, and I would imagine that working with you helps us to start to bring those things up so we can dismantle those things. The brain is really very, very interesting. And how has knowing what you know now and you're teaching us, how has that helped you personally?
Oh, um, I mean, it's helped me immensely. Getting all the intellectual knowledge, reading the books, taking the courses, learning about neurotransformational coaching through our communities, all of that information was amazing. Um, I remember learning it and just kind of feeling like, okay, magically I'm just gonna know this stuff, and so my life is gonna change. The way it helped me was that knowing this stuff, I didn't put action behind it right away. I really struggled with depression. That was a really big thing, and it got really bad for a while. And I was living in survival mode for just too long. So I could learn things intellectually, but I wasn't embodying anything that I was learning. When I was finally able to embody it and able to relieve some of those limiting belief systems, understanding where they came from, not judging them, just understanding, okay, this is what happened in my life. This is where this belief system came in. This is how it protected me back then. You know, acknowledge it, thank it, and let it go. Then I was able to open my eyes to the things in this world that are more beneficial to me. Um, and again, the clarity of, when I was walking through life, not understanding why I was attracting certain relationships or why I was attracting certain, things, why I wasn't attracting money, all that kind of stuff. I didn't understand. And when I gained understanding, the clarity behind it, it changed my world because I was able, it took me out of victim mode is exactly what it did. I was no longer a victim and I was empowered. And that's what I want to give people. I want to empower them. I want to help them understand what keeps them a victim and what takes them out and empowers them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what helped me is it empowered me for sure.
Can you give us a real life example of how that thinking and that transformation, an example of a challenge in your life that you kind of walk through as you'll be walking us through?
Yeah, well, oh, I have so many of them. When I first learned about life coaching. I was so excited because I was like, oh, now I have this way that I can use the things like I just didn't want all these things that had happened in my life to be for nothing. I really felt this need to share my story, but I didn't know how. So I quit my job. I quit my job to pursue life coaching. And the second I quit my job, my life fell completely apart, just completely apart. I was on the verge of a divorce. My dog passed away. The home we were living in was sold out from underneath us. Like there was just things that happened one after another. And then I was diagnosed with PTSD and then it was working through all of that. So I still kept working. It took me a long time to kind of pick myself back up, but with the support of, therapy and, going through the courses, I've noticed I say, a lot. I just had to say that. I just noticed that. Um, Going through all the courses kind of helped me learn this intellectual knowledge and just having some time to heal. I did end up doing a couple rounds of assisted ketamine, which completely saved my life. It changed everything. I was able to connect the dots. I was able to put action behind the knowledge that I was learning. And it brings me to just in this last month. Um, I felt ready again. Before I was hiding. I had a hard time speaking. I don't remember. I don't know if you remember my keynote speech, but I talked a little bit about that because I remember when Lisa would call me to speak, my throat would shut up. Like it would completely shut down. I couldn't speak. I was terrified. And I was working this job. And so I was like, okay, I'm ready. I've got my business. I've had the name forever. I've had my website. I'm ready to start giving the information. I want to start my YouTube channel. But every time I turned the camera on, I would freeze. But I'm ready now. I'm ready. There's no more excuse. I'm ready. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to move forward. Now, I don't know if you remember, but I said the last time I quit my job to move forward with life coaching, my life fell apart. And so I was in this job. It's a job I was very good at. I was so unhappy. Not unhappy because of anything the job did. I knew I wasn't living my purpose. I wasn't doing what brought me joy, what I felt I needed to do. However, I held on. I held on to the job with with everything I could. And the resistance kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I finally just sat back and realized, okay, well, I understand. All of the knowledge, the clarity that I have helped me understand that the last time I quit a job that was the same job, like I was basically doing the same job, the last time I did that, my life fell apart. So my body was reacting in a way that, or my brain created that belief system that you can't quit your job. Because if you quit anything or quit your job, your life's going to fall apart. And that's where the resistance came, and that's where the unhappiness came, and the fear. I mean, I was just terrified. But I finally just did it because your soul is going to progress whether you want it to or not, right? Like, so my soul was progressing. I finally got up enough courage to leave my job. And I remember the first week I was just waiting for my life to fall apart. But it didn't. And instead of that waiting lasting months and months and months, because it used to take me months to get over a triggered event or, depression, things like that. If something would happen, it would take me a really long time to recover from it. This time, it was a week. My body reacted and with habits and then I was like, okay, I didn't die. I'm fine. I can move forward. So that's how all of this knowledge helped me, is it helped me move through it faster and give me the courage to actually take action on something that hurt me before, but I was okay with failing again.
So inspiring. And I know that anyone that works with you is going to be loved and cared for and really wrapped into a blanket of understanding, if you will, because you've been there and you've done the hard work and you will walk with them to do the same. let's give people a little hope. I know we've talked a lot about how the brain, and our mind body connection, sometimes our brain will take us down roads or patterns that we are familiar to us that may not be good for us. But let's talk about slowing that negative momentum and then creating some positive momentum.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, first of all, let's define what's positive and what's negative.
Okay.
The way I help people understand it in my coaching is feelings. Like, how does it feel? Is this a feeling that feels good to you, or is this a feeling that feels bad to you? And for everyone, that could be different. So what feels good to one person may not feel good for another person. So that's why it's very, it's very different for each person. Um, when you're gaining momentum in a negative feeling, going towards this negative thought process, your thoughts, they don't feel good, your body doesn't feel good, you don't like the results that you're seeing in your life, you just don't feel good. That's momentum in a negative direction. And so what I feel hope is it's giving ourselves the permission to slow that momentum down and start moving in the direction that feels good. And the way that I like to teach people first is just paying attention to how you feel in your body and the thoughts that are in your head. Because every feeling that we have comes from our thoughts, and our thoughts come from those belief systems that have been created throughout our entire lives. And so it's really just asking empowering questions because our brain is like a computer. It has a job. If you ask it a question, it's actually like Google. If you ask it a question, it's going to bring you an answer, and that answer may not be correct, but it's the answer of all of the data it's collected throughout your life, right? So if you ask the question, like if you do something and you're frustrated and you're like, oh my God, why am I so stupid? Then your brain's going to go back and it's going to be like, here's all the reasons you're so stupid, right? Like it doesn't know the difference between positive, negative, empowering, disempowering. It doesn't know the difference. So it's really being conscious about, what am I thinking? Asking questions like, wow, how can I do this better? Or, what will make me feel better? How can I get rid of this thought? And in gratitude, practicing gratitude will slow a negative momentum down faster than anything else. Is just thinking about the things that you currently have in your life that you can be grateful for, even if it's just one tiny little thing. Just thinking about that one tiny little thing over and over and over, how grateful you are to have it. So, I don't know if I answered your question. I
No,
kind of
you
went off
definitely
into a
did.
little bit of a tangent, but but that's what I like. I do. I feel like when people come to me, they are definitely they've gained momentum in this negative direction. And so what we do is we slow it down. We don't just slam it shut, like slam it, to a stop. That would hurt and it would be too much. We slow it down and then we start moving in the positive direction and then we collect the evidence of how it's working. I think that's important. A lot of times we don't celebrate ourselves. We don't recognize the good things that we do because that voice in the head is trying to keep us safe and trying to keep us away from getting hurt, being rejected, whatever reason it is, we need to celebrate ourselves so that we can change the voice, change the
Yeah.
clutter.
That no, you totally answered that question, and I think that that's those are good tools to have. And like I said before, anyone that works with you will be lucky to gain those tools and that insight from you. If someone's watching this right now and they're struggling, what's one message that you'd want them to take away from our time together today?
One message is that you have everything that you need to heal inside of you right now. Even though you may not feel it, you don't know it, it's in there. It's just a matter of finding it. It's a matter of lifting off those layers that are keeping you disconnected from your higher being, your spirit, whatever you call it, your soul. um, you have a gap there. And so I would want you to walk away feeling like, okay, there's hope. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's hope. There's someone here who wants to give me information, who wants to help me, and that can be the one thing you're grateful for, that somebody's willing to move through her own fear just to give me a little bit of hope so that maybe I can pass it on to someone else and be a ripple effect and be something good in this world. Because I think deep down, we all just we all just want to feel good. We all want to feel like we're good people, you
For
know?
sure.
So the message would be you have it in you. It's just a matter of timing. It's a matter of, you know, being interested, learning, listening, and applying. And it will happen. If you keep slowly working, moving forward, it will absolutely, you'll heal. You'll heal, and it feels so good. It feels so good to just be like feeling good right here, that you don't need anything outside of you to make you feel good because you feel solid, you know? So
Yeah,
that would be
that's
my
beautiful.
message.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to connect or if they want to learn more or they want to work
Mhm.
with you?
Well, I'm starting my YouTube channel. Obviously, this is my very first video, and I'm going to be putting out weekly videos on different topics that all involve what we talked about today, everything personal growth. And I only teach what I've healed from. I only teach what I know and what's worked for me. So there are some things I may talk about, but I don't I don't talk too deeply about it because I don't feel like I'm quite there yet. But you can find me here on YouTube, or you can go to mindclaritycoaching.com. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, you can schedule a clarity call there. And that's where we just get together for a quick 15-minute call just to see if coaching is even right for you. But other than that, a lot of the information going to be providing here on YouTube will be very helpful for people.
Well, Chrissy, thank you so much for entrusting me to help you get this first video out. I want to
Mm.
say congratulations. And again, I know that everyone out there listening that something in our conversation today that resonates with them and that they work with you, they will be absolutely in the best hands possible. So thank you for trusting me to help you with this.
Oh, thank you so much, Wanda. You are the best. You're one of the angels that have been sent to me in my life. And I'm very, very grateful for you. So thanks. See you next time.